now recording.
Oh
Craig.
God, Craig is so scary.
I don't know. Every time I hear Craig's voice, I'm just like, it's Skynet.
Yeah.
Every time.
Welcome everybody. This is the
Howdy,
next
y'all.
episode of Beautiful Lorecast Eternals.
Ogors M'lord.
Still dying from coughing.
Ogors.
So yeah, we're doing ogres.
We're finally doing ogres, so we can get like half of the Discord off of our ass about it.
Yeah. So my name is Mitchell. I'm one of these beautiful co-hosts / producer. I edit everything.
I am the spiritual essence of the Great Maw. Also known as Jacob.
Your name?
Also known as Jacob.
Nice to meet you, Jacob.
Yeah.
Please don't eat me.
I will try my best.
And I am the swamp creature. Swamp. Oh my God, Mitchell, I'm having a U.
Yeah.
It's so early.
I know. It's because I'm not wearing my headphones. But no, I am the swamp creature that is Phil. It's a pleasure to meet you all again.
So yeah, Phil is gonna sound a little weird. We could not get his mic working, so we're working on the portability. And laptops don't agree with microphones, so that's about it.
Yeah, we're doing a little experiment to see how laptops work, so Phil might sound a little weird.
We're not gonna make him drive back to Houston to go record this because I got hockey in like 4 hours.
Yeah, so Phil, just like scream and like we'll be able to hear you.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're doing ogres for this episode. But before we hop into it, we do have a couple announcements. Mitchell, do you want to roll off the new Patreon members?
We got John and not new but back ? Levi.
Yeah, because he was like here and then he left and he came back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I just want to know that every time I hear his name, I just hear the main theme song from season 1 Attack on Titan.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure this is the same Levi that broke his back in order to buy a house.
Oh God, that was a fucking wild ride of a story.
The ultimate sacrifice.
Man sacked himself first so his family could live.
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah, that was a wild ass story.
Yeah,
dude, that
if it's the same person.
Whenever I first heard it, I thought it was some kind of like joke that I was being told, and they were like, "No, dude, like this is a member of our Discord," and I was like, "Oh shit, what?"
Shit was wild.
Yeah. Also, for how lazy we are, we finally got around to getting everybody to judge the Kit Bash contest.
I want to talk about it.
And well, nobody actually. I just got bored. I was like, "Come on, guys, let's."
To be fair, I did send you my shit like the morning of the next day.
Yeah. So drum roll, please.
You can't hear it, bud.
Okay. In first place, was Mabel.
Heyo.
Hey.
And Mabel had a
really
roster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a really good Kit Bash. Like good shit.
Yeah.
And the two runners up were Destro and Elmsword. Both of y'all's models were also fantastic. Like everyone involved did a really good job. Thank y'all for participating and keep on the modeling because y'all are fucking awesome at it.
Yeah, no, all the models submitted were really good.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud of all y'all, and like I pride myself because I'm not a big painter, but I am a big model builder. Like I love kit bashing and doing model stuff, so I pride myself on being really good at that. But like y'all were fucking fantastic, so good on y'all, 100%.
Yeah. And sooner or later we will do another contest. So don't be afraid to join the Discord and randomly throw in a contest.
Yep, we're trying to do quarterly contests and just to kind of keep the Discord being active and whatnot. So there will be a new one coming relatively-ish soon. Yep. And yeah, so feel free to throw in your hat into the ring, try it out. And to those who weren't around when we first explained it, this first year of the contest is kind of a trial run to kind of see what contests do and don't work. After this first year, we'll be introducing like more prizes and things like that for the winners and whatnot. Once we get a better feel on what does and doesn't work.
Right now, it's all bragging rights.
It's all bragging rights to say that I'm better than you are.
Yeah. Okay. That's
last but not least, shout out to the Patreon. As always, you guys are awesome. Welcome to new members. Thank you to the old members. Hope y'all stick around for a while. And you guys are fucking awesome. As always, thank y'all so much.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, I think now it's time for the hungry hippos.
Ogors M'lord.
So
this joke will never get old.
Never.
holds me.
Yeah. Who wants to start off?
I think I'll take a crack at it.
Okay.
So, like, ogres are really interesting because, like, as far as lore goes, there's not a whole lot of lore for them. Like, they're involved in lots of fights and battles, but there's not like a whole lot of hardcore lore like the Stormcast Eternals have, or
Do you feel
Senior
like that
plot
they're
armor.
red shirts? They're red shirts from like they're oh god.
from Star Trek.
Yeah, they're just kind of thrown out there just to be like, hey, here's a big baddie. They need to die.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
they were
they
like
kinda had
9 foot
like-
tall and ate like a whole ass cow for dinner.
Like the amount of like in the books I have listened to, just like, oh, we walked up to a random ogre house. Oh no, and they came back, and now this entire group of 7 people need to kill this one ogre, and they all almost die in the process. But hey, they killed the ogre.
Well,
and
I
it's
mean,
just,
like,
and I feel
when
like it's almost a tool just to like kill off a person that needed to die, but they
like
didn't know
how
where to
how can
take
they
it.
how can they fight an enemy but make it big and bad enough where it's not just like a single orc, so it's a 9 foot tall mountain of man meat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like how I feel like they treat the ogres in the lore, but honestly,
They're
they
really
have-
cool.
They're awesome. For the how little lore they do have, they have a decent amount.
Well,
It's
what they do have that's really cool is they have a cool culture, a lot, and a cool subculture. So while there's not a
Yeah.
whole lot of like lore for them, when you break down their society, it's actually pretty interesting. That's what I
Yeah.
like about ogres. Is like they have the kind of tribalistic, you know, thing going for them, but they're also they're really diverse in like what makes up those tribes.
So,
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
what is an ogre? I want you to imagine, take Kingpin from Marvel, make him
Okay,
12
hold
feet
on.
tall.
I would say more fat bastard from Austin Powers.
No.
Get in my belly.
No. Specifically, the Kingpin from Into the Spider-Verse.
Yes, that man.
Large.
And he hungry. Like constantly eats, and cannibalism is not off the menu.
Meat's back on the menu, boys, constantly.
Yeah.
Oh
so
God.
their idea of the constant culture, or what they do, is like their culture is really based around the idea of just eating and looking for food and gathering, like always constantly
So
thinking about the
what I'm
next meal.
hearing, what I'm hearing is that they are the ultimate form of capitalism.
And teenage boys that's going through puberty.
Oh my God. I think this is
Looking
the
at
applicable moment.
you, Jacob.
Okay,
Mr.
we're not.
Sat there and ate through the entirety of a Chinese buffet.
It was
No.
me and Sean and Leland. It was not just me. Don't give me that bullshit.
And they didn't eat through the entire one. They got kicked out after the owner was like, "You have literally eaten me out of house and home. Leave."
We were all 16, all in going through the middle of puberty, and we were all in sports and shit. We'd all come back. We were all just done practice, and we were all hungry as fuck, tired as shit. And once again, puberty's a hell of a drug. And Chinese food is like you are full, and then you're not.
Oh God, it
Like,
is.
just saying. Like, I'm just saying. Like, yes, we were being fat asses, but it wasn't like we were being egregious fat asses. Like,
I'm just saying.
now us going for McDonald's after that was fat ass. That was the unnecessary part.
That is true ogre energy,
That
right?
was, that right there. That was the out of pocket shit.
Oh, really? So you got kicked out of a Chinese buffet, all you can eat. What'd you do after that? Oh, we went and ate more food.
Got a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Listen. I just said it. But I'm gonna say it again. Puberty is a hell of a drug.
Yep.
But to a certain extent, like that's that really is a big part of ogre like religion is eating, because one of the gods they follow, I think it's called the hungering gulping god, right?
No. So what the gods are is not just gods; they're aspects of Gorkamorka.
Yeah.
And it's the god is either called, well, you got multiple aspects. You got the gulping god,
The Sun Eater.
the sun eater. I guess the Great Maw. I don't know.
No, the Great Maw. That's a
Yeah,
world
no,
that was
technically the
thing.
Great Maw no longer exists.
I will say that does piss me off though, because I think the gigantic demonic Sarlacc pit that the ogres worship was really cool, and the fact that AOS is just like, oh, it's just Gorkamorka again. I'm not gonna lie, that kind of pisses me off. Like, I feel like they pulled so much from fantasy, just like Just give us the maw back and just like make it a little different. But
Bro,
like
Yeah,
just
rats-
being hungry Gorkamorka, I just kind of feels like kind of bullshit. I'm not gonna lie. Like I really
rats
like
got
the
to
Great
keep-
Maw.
The rats got to keep the great horned rat. The ogre should have gotten to keep the maw.
Well, that's
Yeah.
the thing, though. Is like, listen to this real quick. I know I'm cutting you off, Mitchell, but just hear me out, and then I'll shut the fuck up about it. If the entire point of Daughters of Cain is everyone thinking they're worshiping Cain when Wrathy's like, GG lols, Cain's dead, is it really too much to think about, or to understand that maybe the ogres are just worshiping a hole in the ground, and that's all that it is? Like, if that was their god. But the funny part was, it was actually just a fucking hole in the ground, with like with like some goblins or something living at the bottom, eating all the food they dump into it. Like
First of all, that would be hilarious.
with
but
ogre
how
intelligence, with ogre intelligence.
how they redid the religion is actually really not that bad. Because first of all, it's kind of like, okay, you take Gorkamorka, you call him the gulping god because he's absolutely wants to eat he wants to eat everything. So in the realm of Gur, he sat there and was trying to eat all the pretty much the realm. So like all these bite marks are in these or all these ravines in the realm of Gur, are the bite marks of Gorkamorka. And then since he couldn't fixate his hunger from trying to actually eat the realm, there was so much saliva coming from his mouth, it filled up these ravines, kind of creating rivers. And from those rivers of saliva is
Oh, that's fucking grody.
what spawned the ogres. So they are the manifestation of
Gorkamorka's hunger.
Gorkamorka's hunger. Yeah.
Here's something cool that I was thinking of is if we remember from our Gloomspite episode 2 weeks ago, when Gorkamorka created the Bad Moon because he was eating the realms and then decided that he wanted to eat the moon because he was so hungry. Maybe that wasn't just Gorkamorka. Maybe that was actually the gulping god version of Gorkamorka. So maybe the ogre's god is what made the Bad Moon.
I mean, they're the same god, but yes, okay.
But a different aspect.
Yeah, fair point.
I'm just saying, like,
Sorry.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah. That not only that, there's also there is the Everwinter. That's kind of a different aspect. We'll go into the Everwinter when we go into
The Beast Riders. Yeah.
And then there's the other aspect called the Sun Eater. In my notes, for some stupid reason, I put Soul Eater, the anime.
Bro, that's a great fucking manga. I love
Obviously.
that manga.
But the whole entire thing about like the aspect of the Sun Eater was that Gorkamorka, or the gulping god, got hungry. I was like, I'm gonna go eat the sun. So he ate the sun in Gur, and it was such spicy food in his belly.
He got some pretty bad acid reflux.
And burnt out fire, and it was from this fire, and when it coalesced, it created Akshi.
Okay, that actually is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that like Gorkamorka likes to eat celestial bodies.
Yeah. So
I'm just
He
pointing
really
that out.
does.
So when you really think about it in the terms, because like really none of this makes sense. Like of all the other episodes of gods and religion that we have done through Age of Sigmar, none of this makes sense. But I love how it actually shows their culture instead of like it's not being shown from Cities of Sigmar point of view. This is literally the ogre's point of view.
Well,
And like how they see the world.
I also like how closely the ogres embody their religion. Like, if there's a human worshiping Sigmar, like they're like, okay, cool, let's like fuck over chaos and let's like be nice to people and like be good and raise cities and spread order and dir. But the ogres are like, oh man, our god eats lots of things, we eat lots of things. Our god ate the sun, we try to eat lava and shit. You know, like it's not like they try to like embody the like aspects and like do what they think they're it's like cool, no, our god eats shit, we eat shit. It's simple. It's as simple as that. Our god eat fire, we eat fire.
Yeah. It's honestly just absolutely amazing. And
Listen,
it's so simple.
Kiss. Keep it simple, stupid.
And it makes it such an amazing race to actually like follow.
And look, the ogres ain't exactly got a bunch of brain cells to rub together.
Yeah, well, some of them are cunning. Remember, all of destruction. They're brutally cunning and cunningly brutal.
but they are kind
I
of
was
dumb
gonna make a
though.
joke about that.
They are very stupid.
They are
Ogres
kind of
very-
dumb though.
They are very stupid. Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's the gods. Those are the two main gods that the ogres follow, and that kind of does shape the different like
Not
sects
gods,
in
aspects.
aspects. Yes, but that kind of shapes the different sects of ogres that are in the tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Because do we want to go over like the actual cultures like the gutbusters and firebellies and
Just to be clear, you said sect with S-E-C-T,
yes,
right?
sect.
Okay,
Sorry,
cool.
sects.
Subcultures. I would say.
Subcultures. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
My lisp kicks my ass with that word. But yeah, we want to go over like the different subcultures, like the gutbusters and shit.
Actually, I want to go down on how like the tribes are really broken down first, mainly because it's easier to understand the subcultures after you cover that because they're broken up into Mawtribes. And these Mawtribes they resemble one of these subcultures, such as Beast Claw Raiders or the Firebellies or Gutbusters.
All right, no, that's cool. Take us away.
And through like the Mawtribes are the society, the society aspect of the Ogor Mawtribes. Then in there you have your warring groups pretty much, and they're called war gluts.
Yeah.
And these war gluts go out on pretty much hunts, and they kind of go on hunts just to go bring back food, and they kind of go into this. They hunt in a spiral pattern. And this is what they actually call what the Great Maw got changed to instead of like a big old hole in the ground. The Great Maw is now actually their hunting pattern because within this spiral there would be like little offshoots of when you look at it from the sky, it looks like just teeth of like the original Great Maw. Or
You think that's kind of like a hit at the Great Maw of the of the world that was.
And it just keeps on expanding further and further out, so nobody's like really safe. It's just the further away you are, the more time you have to live your life before you get absolutely
Nommed on
by some random ogre.
Right. And the war gluts, those are more like gutbusters, right?
No, they're just the warring. They're just the war tribes, or not the war tribes, the war bands, pretty much. They're
Okay.
That's every single subfaction has their own war glut.
Okay.
And it's kind of each war glut's kind of led by two different people. You have your slaughter master. The slaughter master will actually like open up the innards of what they caught, and they kind of get like a reading from the innards, be like, we're gonna go this direction and all that good jazz. So they're kind of
like the old wasn't it the Greek or the Romans who used to read the entrails of animals?
I think so.
I think it was the Romans.
Was it the Romans that also used chickens to do luck?
Yeah, I think they used like chickens and lambs, and they would like cut open their innards.
Yeah. But then the other person who actually runs these war gluts is the tyrant, and he's the one who actually like really controls the group and he's the real leader. He's, in the best sense of terms, the captain of the ship. They're gonna listen to him. And the way that you actually move up in the society of the war gluts is defeating your leader and eating him, because ogres are not against cannibalism. They actually kind of like, you killed the man, he has meat on him, I'm gonna eat the man.
It's like, listen, don't waste anything, homie. Like, you killed him, you gotta eat that shit.
Yeah. So it kind of goes through this idea of like the pure destruction mentality of survival of the fittest, or might makes right type of thing.
If you can beat him and eat him, do that.
If you beat him, yeah, you deserve to rule. And that's kind of how their war gluts kind of set up.
That's mighty Sith of them.
Yeah.
Minus the aggressive amounts of cannibalism.
Yeah.
I feel like that's how almost every single ogre like story ends is, and then he ate him.
Yep. He died.
Oh, that or he died. I just gotta get that feeling, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Who do we want to cover first? Do we want to cover Fire Bellies, Beast Claw Raiders?
Well, let's just do Gutbusters because we were just talking about war gluts and like
Okay.
that's like where the tyrant resides and whatnot. So I think that makes sense.
So Gutbusters. Yeah, go ahead and go. For some reason, my mind is going through the idea because there's like there's because I was thinking like there's two different major subcultures, which is Ogor Mawtribes and Gutbusters. But in Gutbusters, you have other subcultures.
No,
which
I got you. I got
Fire
you.
Bellies and Man-Eaters. Okay,
I got
go.
you. I got you.
Hit me.
All
Hit
right.
me. Slap
Okay.
me.
Okay, hold on now. Wait a minute.
Are we starting a Fight Club?
I'm uncomfy
Very
now.
ogre of you.
No, so Gutbusters, in my opinion, from what I have read, they kind of make up the majority of ogres in the Ogor Mawtribes. Like, they're kind of like I guess the basic ogre is gonna be a Gutbuster. They're the big boys with the club, the sword, or whatever that they run around eating shit. Like they're like the stereotypical ogre.
Yes.
When you think ogre, you think of these guys.
You think of a Gutbuster. They're also gonna be where the tyrant lives. Like realistically, like a tyrant is normally drawn from the ranks of the Gutbuster. Tyrant, not always, but normally. Tyrants being the leader of the tribe, the biggest, baddest ogre that eats everything, yada, yada, yada. And I think Slaughter Masters come from the Gutbusters, too. Butchers and Slaughter Masters, and they're the ones that, like, read the hunger of Gorkamorka and direct the tribes to go certain places. But that's what a Gutbuster is. They are like they're like the body of the tribe. They are the stereotypical ogre, and they make up the body of the tribe. Like when you have like Beast Riders and Fire Bellies, which we'll go over in a second, and like they're parts, but like realistically, the Gutbusters they're the core of what the tribe is.
Yeah,
that's how I see a Gutbuster.
Ogor Mawtribes are really divided in two major subcultures. Gosh, I'm gonna weirdly bring religion into this, but it will make sense.
Always.
So you have you have the Gutbusters, and then you have Beast Claw Raiders. I want you to imagine that two schism is between like Eastern Orthodoxy and Catholicism, where Catholicism is the Gutbusters and Eastern Orthodoxy is the Beast Claw Raiders. It really hasn't changed since then, but Catholicism had its own schism, where it's you have Protestants and Catholicism still. And with those two schisms, it would be like Fire Bellies and oh, I lost myself there.
Man-eaters?
Man-eaters, yes. So that's kind of like how I see this division, because like you have the overarching thing that is Gutbusters, but within Gutbusters, there's also still subcultures.
Yeah. So speaking of the two main cultures, let's go into Beast Claw Raiders.
Okay. So again,
and before you start, Mitchell, I'm gonna want to go while we're on Beast Claw Raiders. I'm gonna want to talk a little bit about like the beasts and shit, if as well, like the stone horns and things like that.
I'll let you talk about all that, but like when it comes to Beast Claw Raiders, one of the first things is like that people need to understand about it is the Beast Claw Raiders are actually kind of cursed in a way. They're an offshoot of the Ogor Mawtribes, and they're kind of seen as they're not well liked because they're seen as they didn't actually follow the orders of Gorkamorka, so they were cursed by this thing called the Everwinter. There's a few theories of how the Everwinter actually became into a thing. The first theory is like it was cast by Sigmar cast onto the ogres by Sigmar for defying the truce between Sigmar and Gorkamorka. What that truce is and how they broke it, I'm not sure.
Oh that's the Age of Myth when Gorkamorka told Sigmar to fuck off and went on a gigantic wog.
Yeah, but like, why not on all the other stuff? Hence why I didn't know exactly what truce.
And real quick before he continues, like the name is kind of self-explanatory, but if you can't picture it, Everwinter, gigantic, angry, magical blizzard.
Yep. There's another myth which kind of goes into like it was a curse placed on them by the Great or by Gorkamorka himself for eating the remains of Yalnar or Jonnar. I'm going to say Yalnar because it sounds more like a Viking thing.
Oh, is that the godfather of Bahamut? Or the father of Bahamut? No,
I don't think so. But the reason why Gorkamorka was so angry is because he was going, that was for me. I was saving that for myself. How dare you eat that? So he didn't put the curse of the Everwinter on them. So the blizzard will
Hold
always
on.
fall.
So what I'm hearing is Yanar was the bread, the ogres are Lada, and Gorkamorka is you catching Lada in the bread.
Goddamn bread cat. God.
Like-
Bro, why you gotta do him dirty like that?
Why you gotta bring back up such bad memories?
Bread cat.
She doesn't eat tortillas though. Only
Na na
bread.
na 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 bread cat.
So
Na 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 bread cat.
one thing that I read while looking this up was that the Everwinter, some of the ogres can actually channel the Everwinter, like
Yep.
for magic.
Oh yeah, buddy, I haven't gotten there yet.
I
Because
find that
there-
fucking
there's
hilarious.
There's still one more theory, is that the Everwinter actually comes from the ice vaults of Shyish, where Nagash actually held the winter gods, and the ogres got so hungry and like in their search for food, they opened up these old like these ice vaults and like unleashed the winter gods, and the winter gods cursed them.
That's amazing.
Could you
So-
imagine? No, could you imagine being a Beast Claw raider and like starting shit in your tribe with other ogres? Like just starting shit because ogres fight, and the other ogre decides to flex on you by literally summoning the power of what you consider to be your Satan.
Yes.
Like, oh, you wanna fuck with me, huh? You wanna fuck with me, Satan? Everwinter, Beast Claw Raider, just like dies.
Yeah. So
Fucking dead.
So also to give the idea of what this Everwinter actually is, the Everwinter is a constant blizzard that just chases these like the Beast Claw Raiders. And there is no outrunning it. They kind of always live on the fringe of it. But if the Beast Claw Raiders actually get caught in the middle of the Everwinter, they do not die. They just freeze there. And they become frozen, and they start to go mad because they're still hungry. So they could literally sit there for centuries just starving.
That's actually funny because real quick, I'm gonna go into one of the types of beasts that creatures that sometimes the ogres like kind of use is the Icefall Yetis. And the Icefall Yetis, they literally come from the Everwinter, or like that's where they live. And some people think that the Icefall Yetis are just ogres that got caught in the Everwinter.
So,
And it literally says that the Icefall Yetis are simian nature. So my brain is like, yes, the ogres reject modernity, return to monkey. Return to ice monkey.
The
Yeah,
ogres were just like, you know what? What if instead of being ogres, we were just
Gorilla.
snow gorillas?
Basically.
so there are countless ogres that have actually been caught in the actual Everwinter, and lo and behold, knock on the door, here comes Nagash, Necroquake. What happened with the Necroquake and the Everwinter is that it actually moved the Everwinter to the point where all these ogres that were trapped actually became unthawed, and they started ravaging like legit hell on the realms because they have gone mentally insane from
They're
being
so hungry.
for literal centuries from just being hungry. So you can only imagine how that's going for the mortal realms.
Yeah, I'm sure they're doing fucking great.
Yeah.
God, just add one more tally to shit Nagash has fucked up. Oh my god. I feel
Dude,
like ever
Nagash
since we
is just the fucking
I feel like ever since we talked about fucking Soul Wars, every single episode at some point is like, this happened and Nagash fucking caused it. Every episode, there's something that Nagash fucked up.
That's why Nagash is the best character.
Such a dick. Can you imagine just being like normal ass fucking dude and just like something horrible comes up and it's like fucking Nagash. I feel like fucking Nagash has become the, remember the meme back in like 2014 where it was like, damn it, Obama, that meme? Like forever, like people just like blame Obama for everything just because it was a meme.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks, Obama.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Obama.
thanks, Obama. Thanks, Nagash. That's what that is. It's just, that's what it's turned into.
Oh, that's a good T-shirt idea.
Just thanks, Nagash.
Thanks, Nagash. All right.
I'm just saying, that's how it feels.
Yep. Would you like to cover a bit of their monsters?
Well, real quick before I go into that, I do think it's pretty cool because like if war gluts are for gutbusters, Alfro stuns are to beast claw raiders. Like that's what their like hosts are called. I think it's pronounced Alfro stuns, and I just think that word's funny.
I thought Afro stuns were like the original main grouping. No, yeah, Alpha stuns.
Yeah, Alfro stuns. I have no idea why it's called that, but like I just think that word is kind of neat.
Yeah.
But Alfro stuns, they're the traditional like nomadic tribes for the beast claw raiders. I'm just like, interesting.
Okay.
Oh, and also leaders of the beast claw tribes are called frost lords.
Yeah.
Yes.
If also anybody on tabletop, beast claw raiders are often called monster trucks, because all you do is just play the big models, and they kind of run around like monster trucks.
They just beat the shit out of things.
Yep.
That is fucking amazing.
And the cool thing about beast claw raiders is they actually have a pretty interesting breakdown of their hierarchy because they have like Yorbad, Earlbad, Torbad, a bunch of different like, ranks, and they have skulls. So they're very Viking-esque, which is really cool. I think, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm gonna talk about some of the mounts and stuff and the beasties that are used. So the mounts are more exclusive to beast claw raiders. I think the creatures could be used by anyone more or less. But anywho, one of the first of the mounts is the Mournfang, which is just like a gigantic rhino. No, not a rhino. It's like I think it's like a gigantic wildebeest, but has like gigantic fucking horns and like club-like legs that they beat shit to death with, and they have a really good sense of smell.
Almost sounds like a boar.
Well, maybe it's like a gigantic boar. Yeah.
Like a Russian boar.
Yeah, it's pretty. Oh my god. But yeah, it's pretty. Like, it's pretty simple. They have big ass tusks. They have big ass legs, and they beat shit to death. And they have a pretty good sense of smell too.
Yep.
And like that's pretty much a Mournfang. Stonehorns are really cool. So Stonehorns are like I've always seen Stonehorns as like really gigantic, thick, aggressive moose.
Yeah, I see it.
That's kind of how I see Stonehorns.
I really do see that. Yeah.
Yeah. Like so Stonehorns is just think like a really big, really thick moose.
I would just like to point out that moose are already fucking terrifying.
The moose's only natural predator is an orca whale.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Orca
So
whale.
this is gonna give me nightmares.
So the Stonehorns. So like I said, big ass, spooky, thick moose. Except they don't eat grass. They only eat like rocks and minerals and metal. So it literally turns their bones into stone or gemstones or metal. And they're thick as fuck, dense as shit, very, very hard to kill because their skeleton's made of fucking rock. And they just run around and they murder shit aggressively, and they are notoriously bad-tempered. So, like, ogres will try to catch them, either to tame them or to kill them for their skeleton, because their skeleton is very,
tough.
Not tough, words. Worth
Valuable.
Valuable. Fuck, there we go. Yeah. And something that's cool is like whenever you kill a stone, even after the Stonehorn is dead, you have to make sure the bones don't like stay still too long or too close together, because they'll literally fuse together into like one big piece of rock. That's why a Stonehorn, even if it's alive, if it stays still for too long, its joints will fuse.
Oh. Into
like just one big ass rock bone, essentially.
Oh god.
But whenever an ogre tames a Stonehorn, whenever they use it as beast of burden, or they ride it into battle. When they ride it into battle, it's two ogres, one throwing a gigantic fucking javelin, and one driving the monster. And remember, moose, so big ass stone horns. So whenever it charges into battle, it tends to fuck shit up.
So I gotta interrupt you real quick. This is a tangent, and I'm sorry. So I was going to the Games Workshop website so I can go actually look at these models, because I was like, ooh, I just want to go see how they look like and how much they cost. Then I saw like the whole entire like 10th edition thing. Does it piss you off that every single time there's a new edition, Ultramarines blue just constantly keeps on getting darker?
Wait, really?
I've accepted it. I've just accepted it.
Like, honestly, like, I'm looking at the whole entire, like, the battle has evolved thing on, like, Games Workshop. I'm like, paint their hands red and you got crimson fists. That's how dark they are.
Oh, you mean you use Ultramarine blue to paint Crimson Fists? Like, how long has that been a thing? Or Ultramarine blue is what you use to paint Crimson Fists?
Used to. Now you do Cantor blue.
All right.
Like, they used to be the same blue, but then somebody was like, I want to create another blue. And like, oh my god, they're so darkly painted. And I'm like, what?
So
It makes no
what
sense.
it is that Ultramarines are just slowly turning into the Black Templars.
Yes. Yeah. Guys, we have a theory coming about.
Oh,
Oh God, please don't.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
Bobby G is Rogaldorn confirmed. But where was I? Oh yeah, there's 4 types of Stonehorns. So you have like the normal Stonehorns, which is basically what I just explained. Then you have the Black Clatterhorn, which is just a Stonehorn that was born in Gur and has a boner from murder. That's
Nice.
basically what a Black Clatterhorn is. You have the Frosthoof Stonehorn, which were Stonehorns that live near the heart of the Everwinter. And because of that, their hooves are like covered in ice and shit, and it makes them really spooky to deal with in combat. And also the Frosthoof Stonehorns, if I remember correctly, ogres will actually hang like meat and shit off their tusks and whatnot because they're so cold it preserves the meat longer, which I think is actually pretty cool.
That's amazing.
That's
You
actually
have
kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. So next you have the Metal Crunches, which are Stonehorns that like to eat metal, and because of that, they specifically go after enemy war machines. Like, hey, that catapult, I'm gonna fuck up that catapult. And then you have the Rockmane Elders. Rockmane Elders are just Stonehorns that have actually gotten pretty young, or pretty old, I mean, and because of that, their bones are thicker and stronger, so they're a lot more durable than younger Stonehorns. I'm assuming that also means they're probably a little slower, but they're just like thick boys. And that's basically the subtypes of Stonehorn. What I find funny is the next mount is called a Thunder Tusk. And so Stonehorns, in my opinion, have gotten smaller in AOS than they were in Fantasy. And Thunder Tusks, which are like the really big mounts, are just how big Stonehorns used to be. Because Thunder Tusks, they're basically just like gigantic fucking Stonehorns. Like same big ass monster, big ass tusks. Ogres ride them, eat javelins, and they charge into prey and fuck shit up. But the only difference is that they also they have a frost breath, I think.
Yeah, they also look more mammoth-like. So
Yeah,
if
they're
the
mammoth-like.
Stonehorn has like actual horns coming out of its head, kind of like on the side and upper part. The Thunder Tusk actually is more like the elephant, and it kind of like has its tusks coming from underneath.
And they're more forward jutting.
Yeah,
But yeah, Thunder Tusks, they come from the more Arctic regions of the Mortal Realms, and they're used as mounts. I think the Thunder Tusks are also can be used as beasts of burden, and they also have like the whole like frost aura thing. So ogres will use them to like hang meat on their tusks and shit as well to preserve it. And they also have the frost breath, which will like just freeze motherfuckers solid like in seconds.
Yep.
They're also like notoriously hard to tame and very dangerous, but you know, basically everything that the ogres touch is.
Yeah.
So next, so those are the mounts more or less. Next, we're gonna talk about the creatures. We already talked about the Icefall Yetis, blood vultures. They're birds.
I wonder what they do.
They're vultures that kind of act more like hawks, but yeah, they're burbs.
And frost sabers are just
Frost sabers are cool.
saber-tooth tigers that are white.
So frost sabers are saber-tooth tigers, and unlike the majority of creatures that the ogres deal with, they don't break and tame frost sabers. They raise them from cubs.
Aww.
So frost sabers are
That's actually kinda
they're actually really loyal because like ogre mom essentially.
Yep.
But the cool thing about frost sabers is they actually have like ice blood. They have like freezing blood. So whenever they're trying to hunt near the Everwinter, they're basically invisible because they're white and their body doesn't produce heat, so they have no visible breath.
That's pretty cool.
And ogres can bleed them. Like can like use their blood to create like ice potions and shit.
Nice.
Yeah, they're really, really cool. But yeah, no, unlike most beasts, the frost sabers are really, really loyal to ogres because, like I said, ogre mom.
I got my own little frost sabers. One is currently asleep on my pile of blankets, and
Is it
my hobby.
Hephaestus?
It is.
It's
Hephaestus.
always Hephaestus.
Yeah.
And last but not least is the Rhinox. It's a big ass rhino. Except I think this one has 2 horns instead of 1. But the Rhinox, I think they ride the Rhinox as well as mounts, but they're very much more like beasts of burden. So like the Rhinoxes will carry iron blasters in the battle, iron blasters being some ogre artillery, which are basically just like big ass shotgun cannons.
Yep. Or the Nobbler launcher.
Or the Nobbler scrap launcher. Like, yeah, Rhinox are just really good beasts of burden because they're not super big, but they're very strong and they're angry as fuck. So if anyone tries to attack like your artillery or your caravans, like, yeah, well, now you have a gigantic demon rhino to deal with that like wants that craves bloodshed.
Yes.
Yeah, but they're found in the Gurish hinterlands, I think is where they basically breed and whatnot. But and there is a secondary subrace of Rhinox called cave Rhinox. They're blind and they're normally cave dwelling, and they're like super angry because they're blind.
Which makes no sense to me that how a creature that big will live in a cave, but mortal realms.
I mean, AOS. Not everything has to make sense. Sometimes the rule of cool prevails.
Yes.
Well, no, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of in real life, a lot of animals that are nearsighted or naturally have really bad eyesight, they usually end up being like really aggressive to make up for that fact.
Look at anteaters; they'll kill you.
Rhinos too. Rhinos have really shit eyesight, and so they're like, if they feel threatened, they'll just charge you.
But
Which
they
is
don't live
actually
in
really-
caves. But
Which is actually really cool because rhinos are actually pretty fucking docile. You just have to not be a dumbass around them, and you're probably good. But no, I like anteaters because anteaters are basically blind, but they have basically razor blades for thumbs. So like anteaters, if they feel threatened, will literally T-pose on you for dominance, but like they'll like slit your fucking throat or your arteries if you get too close to them.
Yeah, because they also manage to hit like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, and they're so fucking sharp that basically it'll be like anteaters kind of have the oh my wamusha de you Nani energy because you are already dead. Hit you with the mad thumbs. You're like, oh, what happened? Oh, why are my wrists and my throat cut? Because the anteater's KD just went up by 1.
1 minute you're taking a picture of a cute anteater. Next minute you're meeting God.
You're fucking anteater body stacked.
let me tell you the story how I got reincarnated.
It was not in fact Truck Coon. It was Anteater Coon.
Yep.
But yeah, no, they literally T-pose on you, and it's fucking hilarious. Like, it's just funny. I fucking love anteaters. But yeah, I think that's about all for Rhinox. They're also hunted not just by ogres, but like orcs and humans and shit. I think Gargants, like basically everything uses Rhinox for food or beast of burden, basically.
Okay.
But they're pretty cool. They're also furry. They're like furry rhinos, angry furry rhinos.
Would we like to cover fire
that's about
bellies
it.
next?
Yeah, that's about it. So I guess the fire belly is
Fire
next.
bellies.
Fire belly.
Okay, so fire bellies. Jacob, if you're an ogre, you're a fire belly because
Yeah, I know.
Your ungodly
less
love for
spicy.
just spicy food. Even when it comes to the point where it's not even enjoyable anymore, you're still like, yeah, spice.
Hey Phil.
Yeah.
Why is it spicy?
Where is this spicy?
I'll actually say, Mitchell, as I've gotten older, I've come to appreciate spice, but at a level where I can still taste my food. Like when I was younger, I was like, I want my mouth to feel nothing but pain. But as I've gotten older, I'm like, I like spice, but I like spice in a way that enhances the taste of my food, not just take away the taste because like my throat's bleeding.
Yes.
See, as I've gotten older, I've come to realize life is enough pain. I don't need more in my food.
Well, the cool thing about spicy food, so I think a big reason why I like spicy food so much when I was younger is because like eating spicy food literally makes your brain produce I think it's serotonin.
Yeah.
I think it literally
Or
it
that or
Dopamine.
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 It literally makes your brain produce happy chemicals. So like whenever I would eat spicy food when I was younger, I'd get super giddy and whatnot. Oh, this I'm having a great time, and I didn't understand why. And then I was like, oh man, I'm literally drugging myself.
Nice.
So I decided like maybe I should calm that shit down.
So fire bellies. They are the ones that kind of follow the aspect of Gorkamorka for the Sun Eater. And there are a lot of their rituals, rites, all that good jazz. They try to emanate, or is that the correct word? They try to replicate what the Sun Eater did, and they kind of go through and they just eat the spiciest of foods, or they literally eat fire, cold. They eat
Lava.
something. They eat something so they can breathe fire.
Yeah, I was gonna be like, no, you know, Mitchell, it's not just spicy food. These motherfuckers put lava in their mouth.
Yeah, and they really, honestly, they weirdly pray to like ash and well, not flame. Flames is not weird, but
Well, they'll
praying to ash is weird.
well volcanoes and whatnot. I think like they specifically seek out volcanoes, right?
Flames, volcanoes, all that good jazz. Anything that's hot and on fire.
And what's super funny is the reason why they eat shit that like would literally kill anyone else. Is I think their stomachs are literally oiled. Like their stomachs are protected against those super like fire and lava and shit, so it doesn't fucking kill them. Like there's some weird magic bullshit going on with fire bellies. They can eat this shit, it doesn't kill them, and they literally start fire breathing on people.
Yeah. Also, it's to the point where they will actually hunt down certain fire-blooded beasts. And I think really the main one that we all know of is the magma droth. They will go down and hunt magma droths just to eat it.
Oh man,
I like to think that
that's
they
a
just
grudgin.
eat food. It is literally so spicy that it just combusts inside of their stomach.
What I'm hearing is that the fire bellies made the one chip challenge.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Good to know. Good to know.
That's just their favorite snack.
So like,
That's
if
their entire
fire
culture. They
if-
like fire and breathing it.
So what I'm hearing is if Sigmar just let the fire bellies deal with Volcatrix, we'd still have Grimnir.
Not bring that up, but yes.
Just like, why say Grimnir?
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Get fucked. But like, yeah, just like I'm saying, like the fight between Volcatrix and Grimnir, badass, super cataclysmic, and like duel the fates in the background, 100%. But what would you prefer? Badass fight between Grimnir and Volcatrix, or watching Volcatrix get swarmed by thousands of super hungry, spice addicted ogres?
I think the ogre route would have been a whole lot more funny or
Just
more
Volcatrix
related,
like,
yeah.
ah, no, fuck, ah, and the ogre's just like, meat's
It-
back on the menu, boys.
It's like the thing. Would you like rather fight a horse-sized chicken or 1,000 chicken-sized horses?
Yeah.
Like which one is just more funny to watch?
Would you want to fight one gorilla or 1,000 5-year-olds? Yeah, I think that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. That's about it. They worship the sun. That pretty much, or
Well,
the
and
sun
they-
eater.
they-
They
yeah.
worship the sun eater, and they actually have their own like spell lores.
Yeah,
which
the
is
lore of the Sun Eater.
the sun eater.
Yeah, that was the last thing. Is like they have their own magic derived from their belief in the Sun Eater, which is just like, hey, you kids want to set shit on fire?
Yeah. And I think our last one are man eaters. Oh, here she
Yeah. Watch out, boy. Shoot. Fuck you, Mitchell.
comes.
Dude,
Damn it.
I'm gonna be honest. Man eaters are probably my favorite of all of them.
You want to
Just
go over
'cause
'em?
they're like, you know what? You know what we're gonna do? We're
Fat
just gonna
pirates.
be mercenaries.
Fat
So-
pirates. That's what they are.
What's actually funny is, do you know why man-eaters are called man-eaters in AOS? Not in general, like in fantasy, but like why they're called man-eaters in AOS?
No.
Elaborate.
It's because when Gorkamorka betrayed Sigmar in Age of Myth, the ogres got to eat man again. Literally why they're called man-eaters.
That is disturbing.
That's funny as shit.
Their name is literally a walking, talking reminder of Gorkamorka telling Sigmar to suck a fat dick.
Nice.
So one of my favorite things about the ogre man eaters, that's whenever we were doing our episode for the Inquisitors. Remember those? And we read the books.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for that episode, the vampire that was like the main villain of the book that I was reading, or one of the main villains, his retinue was made up of zombified ogre man-eaters.
Oh, that's not fucking terrifying.
Yeah, like that was his personal bodyguard, were zombified ogre man-eaters who had served
Huh.
him back when he was still a mortal man.
Huh. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm currently looking at a picture of a man-eater, and it's fighting a elf.
They kind of got drip.
They have, first of all, yeah, mad drip. Second of all, they're twice the size as the elf. Third of all, there's a lot of dead elves in the area, making me happy.
Dude, they're not just twice
Ozzy
the
will
size
remember
of the elf,
that.
They're literally twice as tall and probably 10 times as heavy.
Also, 3 times as wide.
Yeah.
Listen, all I'm
Right, like
saying is,
5 times.
listen, all I'm saying is, how would you like the crust on your pizza? Extra thick.
Oh my god.
Something else that's cool.
Look, I'm hungry. All I want is I want you to take a Chicago deep dish pizza and then put another Chicago deep dish pizza on top of it and just serve it to me.
What
like
do you
that.
want your pizza stuffed with? Another pizza.
Bruh. Dude, that stuffed pizza from Papa Murphy's,
Oh god, it's so much. I can't. Oh my god.
it's so much pizza.
It's
but like
so
the
much.
man-eaters, they demolish it.
I look at that
Yep.
pizza and my heart burns like, do it, bitch. I fucking dare you.
Okay.
Another cool thing about my mic. Another cool thing about man-eaters is, well, how you become a man-eater is you have to abandon your tribe. I'm pretty sure, like, you can't be a part of a tribe and be a man-eater unless you get contracted by said tribe. I don't think man-eaters like naturally exist within ogre tribes. I don't think. But I don't know if this is something they still do in AOS. But something I really liked about man-eaters in fantasy was no man-eater was the same. Every man-eater had different looks and different weapons depending on who they contracted themselves out. So you'd have man-eaters that would work for the Empire back in fantasy, and they'd have like the feathers in their hats, and they'd have a couple like breastplates that they would have paid and to be made for them to give them some armor, or a fancy like, gut plate with like imperial heraldry on it, because that was where they were and that was who they worked for. Or
Yeah,
you'd
they
have
basically look more like privateers.
or you'd have man-eaters working out for the fucking elves, and they would have like the elven heraldry and like their like big pointy hats and shit, and they would and they would make themselves look like that, and they would use more elvish weapons. Or you'd have them working for honest to god pirates, and they'd be swinging around anchors like flails. And I just really liked that because I felt like it really gave them life, because like it was just no man-eater was the same, and they look really cool. But just take a second and think about a man-eater working and contracting with the dwarves, an ogre in fully encased heavy fucking dwarven armor
Oh my god.
with a gigantic fucking hammer.
Unstoppable.
Literal
Absolute fucking
walking
unit.
tank.
Also,
I'm just saying.
Aren't man-eaters even just like larger than normal ogres?
I don't know, actually.
Because I'm reading this line, it's like wild, oversized ogre warriors.
I mean, maybe. Like, I guess realistically, I know a big thing about being a man-eater is like, and once again, this is back in fantasy. I'm not sure if there's any connection to AOS, but like in fantasy, like ogres were really sought after for mercenaries because they were so destructive and so good. So man-eaters would charge exorbitant prices because like they knew what they were worth. And a lot of times, besides like fucking bitches and getting money, a big part of man-eater payment was like, hey, you're going to feed me literally as much as I fucking want, and when I'm fighting your enemies, you're not going to give me an ounce of shit for also eating them. So like like man-eaters that are pretty
Hey man, I mean,
prolific.
it cuts down on food costs.
Just saying, like man-eaters who are in a really, hectic area that do lots of fighting and get paid a lot are probably eating a whole fuckload, and they ain't got to share with nobody. So
Yeah,
like
facts.
I could see them in there getting pretty thick if they played their cards right.
Yep.
Just saying. But also, like, something I thought of is I don't think I've ever seen this, but could you imagine a man-eater working for Skaven? What
Oh
does
my
what does an
God.
ogre have? A fucking Gatling gun.
Hey, you want to see storm vermin, but not actually storm vermin?
Ogors M'lord.
That's an upgrade from their like normal gut busters or the iron blasters. What are they called? Oh my god, why am I forgetting? Instead of this using an actual cannon, they're just using a minigun.
A minigun. All I can think of is like ogres working for like 4 or 5 ogres working for Skaven, armed with fucking gigantic rattling guns, fighting against like the elves or like the Empire, and it's just the scene from The Last Samurai with the Gatling gun murdering all of the samurai.
Can you just imagine a group of ogres that are just carrying around one of the what's the laser?
Oh, the fucking warp lightning cannons.
Yes, I would just
Oh
like
my
to see
God.
like 3 carrying that and be like, fire!
I'm firing my leg, and as ogres start death starring people.
Dude, no, that's disgusting. Stop.
Oh
That'd
no,
be
no,
amazing.
no! An ogre with a gigantic warp grinder.
Oh my God.
I'm just gonna stab you with this thing and just start drilling the shit out of you. Oh
Oh, no.
Lord, that'd be so fucking cool. But yeah, them's as man-eaters. They're super neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't find anywhere in AOS that said the whole like man-eaters take the drip of who they're working for. I wouldn't be surprised if they still do it, but they just specifically said that in fantasy, and I just really like that because I just think that's a pretty unique thing to do. And like, what it also does is like you know how in 40K when you're making orcs, there's really no like there's no way to build orcs. It's just kind of like, hey, do whatever the fuck you want because that's kind of how orcs roll. Like kit bash to your heart's content.
It's the same thing with ogres.
Yeah, I kind of think if you're making ogre Mawtribes and you want to do man-eaters, you could just have them look however the fuck you want because like, hey, I'm just making I'm making some man-eaters that are working for dark elves, so like they have dark elf drip. Or I'm making some man-eaters that are working for, I don't know, the fucking Sylvaneth. So like they have trees, or like maybe they have like some trees growing through them or some weird plant shit.
I always love
Or
whenever
Eden
you have a
Eden
faction
Deepkin,
like
and it's an
this.
ogre riding a shark.
I always love having a faction like this where you can just say, "Hey, this I'm adding this literally anywhere for flavor."
And it's 100% lore accurate.
I
Yeah,
kind of want to do man eaters that
Oh my
work for
God.
Skaven so I can
Oh.
have the death cannon.
just
that would be-
kit bash a man-eater with a Skaven storm vermin.
Like, but listen, a man-eater riding with Eden of Deepkin, riding a gigantic war turtle.
Yes.
Bro, that'd be
I'm-
crazy as hell.
I'm just saying, like,
No.
that would be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that I would watch.
They're not. God, I really wish that they were still like truly mercenaries in the sense of like the board game. I don't think they are. Let me go look.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean the board game?
Like on actual tabletop? I do not think. That
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you'll talk. I'm gonna be looking for this. Proceeds not to talk.
Well, hold on, I'm actually reading something real fast. Hold on, sorry. I caught something. I'm doing some looking on man-eaters real quick because I want to see if they say how they take armors and shit from their other from their employers. So I really hope that they say that in AOS. So I think I found it. Okay, yeah, no. They say they do it in AOS too. They try to copy the lifestyle of their masters. They'll even take servants from like greenskins. They wear flamboyant armor and yada yada. Okay, so they kind of say they do the same shit in AOS. That's good. That's good. So that means like you could kit bash the shit out of them in AOS and it still be lore accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
So
it's very much,
Skaven ogres coming.
yeah, and that was part of kind of what I was talking about with the ogres who served the vampire, is that they were all wearing very much like vampire heraldry and they were using vampire weapons.
That is pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, no, they were dope as hell. They were called like they had a kind of a funny name. I'm gonna like the Golgari or something like that. I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
they were.
That's a guild from Magic the Gathering, my guy.
Yeah, which is why I'm pretty sure that's not right. But they were dope as hell.
Yep. Nope. They're not. They're not. They can't be used as mercenaries.
Oh, you meant as in like any army can have a little bit of man-eaters with them, kind of like how you do Gargants?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you meant. Okay, yeah, that took me a second. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Which kind of
Wait,
makes
did you
me
say they can or cannot?
cannot.
I, honest to
Oh,
God,
rip.
I would say that could be a house rule between us that if we ever playing each other, if we want to take like a mercenary group of ogres, like that would just make sense.
Yeah.
Do we want? I know we kind of talked about this in the Gloomspite Gets episode, but do we want to talk a little bit about Noblars?
I think.
Because they are the secondary race with the ogres.
Yeah, I think we should mention it at the very least.
Like just for a second, because we kind of already went over this with Gloomspite, but
Let's. They are grots.
they are grot. Yeah, yeah. I think they're cousins to goblins, and yeah.
And as we
whatnot.
stated in the Gloomspite episode, they do hail from Scrap a Spell.
Scrap a Spill, which is where
Yeah.
the Loon King now resides.
Yeah.
But if you remember, basically they said the Noblars got tired of everyone kicking their shit around. And they're like, "Fuck you, we're gonna go find the biggest, meanest boys to be our friends." And they're like, "Ogors, my lord."
Ogres, my lord.
So basically,
It's a symbiotic relationship.
like, grots do everything ogres don't want to do, and they also do a lot of tinkering and whatnot. So if you see some dumbass contraption, like if an ogre is running around shooting a cannon made from forks, chances are a grot made it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like
that's pretty
or
accurate.
not a grot, Noblar, sorry. So like Noblars do a bunch of the dumbass tinkering, they do a bunch of the scavenging, and they do a bunch of the really like not fun jobs, like I don't know, mucking out
Armor maintenance.
the stables from cleaning up the Rhinox shit and whatnot.
Yeah.
And what they get in return is the ogres normally don't eat them. And if you fuck with the Noblars, chances are there's gonna be a bunch of really angry ogres close behind. And it's like, I could fuck with the Noblars, but do I want to get eaten alive? So like they get protection from the ogres essentially. Then that's kind of how that works. And then like a Noblar can roll up and be like, "Don't make me get my ogre. Don't make me get my Shrek." And then like it's an actual like viable threat. And the Noblars actually do fight with the ogres occasionally. Like they're small and weak, so they're not like a gigantic threat, but they do fight in hordes. And like if it's one dude versus like 40 Noblars, chances are you're gonna get shanked in the neck with a bottle.
Yep.
Like that's just kind of how it goes.
Actually, I think they throw bottles. Like they throw scrap, I believe, in the actual board game.
They throw like old rusty knives, but don't fuck with Noblars.
Like 1 or 2 Noblars, maybe even 5 or 10 Noblars, you good. But when there's like 50 Noblars, just run. Like just fucking run. Unless you're a Stormcast. I think Noblars also they also man the Noblar scrap launchers, which is one of the war machines for ogres. It's just a catapult that throws the kitchenware at people.
Actually, they don't even throw like bottles. What they actually have as their missile weapon is just called sharp stuff.
Hey Phil, random bullshit go.
Yep.
Dude, 100%. I am a huge fan of the Noblars because the Noblars are literally just, "Hey, I've got a sharp rock. Cool, throw it."
But the Noblar scrap launcher is actually really funny because like it's a catapult that throws scrap. But the funny thing is no Noblar scrap launcher is the same because some Noblars will have a bunch of forks in them, and some scrap will be like, "Cool, it's nothing but like pointy rocks and a couple sticks." But then they're like, "Hey, you want to throw a random prisoner of war into this catapult and start committing war crimes?" Or, "Hey, do you want to throw this really angry toad that explodes into horrific amounts of poisonous gas when agitated?" Or, "Hey, do you want to just put a bunch of our shit into it and eat it at people?"
Oh my god.
So, like, Noblar scrap launchers are wacky as fuck. Because I feel like that could be another, like, kit bash opportunity is if you could, like, put a little, like, ball of scrap in the catapult and there's just, like, a fucking arm sticking out of it because these fuckers stuffed a person into this cannonball or this catapult ball.
All I can think is about all those carnival shows when they shoot somebody out of a cannon.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
Except that, like, the Noblars have literally zero understanding of gunpowder or, like, how to do a carnival act. So they're in the middle of a carnival. A guy hops into one of these cannons and they pull the trigger, and all that comes out is red mist.
It's just like, well, there was a dude in there. And Jesus Christ. Paste.
I'm sorry.
Oof. Fucking oof.
Rip.
The other vehicle is the Iron Blaster. This is like I talked about it for a second. This is actually like proper fucking artillery for ogres. It's literally just a cannonball shotgun. If that shotgun had the range of like 420 meters. It's pretty fucking spooky. Like long range, it's not like the end of the world, but like if you are anywhere close to mid range, that fucking thing will missed, removed from the timeline.
Yep.
Yeah, like one volley, blow a castle wall apart. Like that's how strong they are. Is like iron blasters are fucking terrifying.
Straight cannons from the siege of Constantinople.
A little bit. Which is
One
actually
thing
funny
that-
when you think about, because those would be ogre cannons, man. How big those fuckers were. Like,
Yep.
That's some ogre shit right there.
So one thing I'd like to point out is that the OG iron shit. What's the other half of their name? I just blanked on it. Guys, help.
I believe in you.
No help.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of spaced. What were you talking about?
Iron blasters?
Yes, iron blasters. Thank
Oh, the
you.
name. Fuck.
But no, the OG lore for iron blasters was that the way they would get their cannons is literally they'd beat an empire army with cannons and then just rob their cannons.
Pardon me. Hippity
Watch
hoppity. I'm taking your property.
Yeah. And this was back in the old world, and then they just load them up with whatever shit they had on hand and fire it.
Okay.
Do the ogres still have that war with the Sky Titans in AOS?
I don't think so. I didn't read anything about it.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
Well, I know that was a fantasy thing. Like in Warhammer Fantasy, the ogres had a massive war with the Sky Titans that almost wiped the ogres out, but they ended up winning. But we just knew like literally nothing about Sky Titans. I know in AOS, Sky Titans are just like a certain breed of Gargant.
Yeah, I don't think so.
But apparently the origin of the Iron Blasters was like it was ogres who did like hood rat shit and stole them from the Sky Titans. Because they had like citadels and shit, and like that's where they got them from. Which I just think makes more sense in the fantasy version, because like I don't think Gargants really use like cannons and shit. They're more just like I'm gonna cast bonk. Personally, but whatever.
Is that about it for ogres?
We could. So basically, I figured like later on we could do a second mini episode on like
The actual different Mawtribes.
yeah, like the hardcore breakdown. Because like I said, like Beast Claw Raiders have like 6 different like rankings and whatnot, and it can go on for a while, which is pretty cool.
Like, so what we covered were the actual different sub factions. We didn't even cover the actual Mawtribes, because there are different Mawtribes that are actually covered within the book, like Thunderbellies, which the Thunderbellies are known for using the cannons.
Yeah,
That's
Boulder
really
Heads,
about it.
which are Boulder Heads, which are like the fucking like the super Beastmasters and shit.
Yeah.
But then like if you break down specifically into Beast Claw Raiders, you get like all of their like ranks and shit, and things like that. So yeah, I kind of figured like as far as going down like the nitty gritty of ogres, we could do an Ogres Part 2 episode later on.
Yeah.
Ogres M'lord.
Ogors M'lord, and also just keep everyone else waiting, particularly Chungus. So now Chungus knows he'll get more ogres.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay. Well,
yeah,
other
no,
than that,
this was kind of a short one, but yeah, that's
well, we had very few rants. I have hardly ever seen a scene so on topic. I was the one that had the rant, and that's rare.
do we
And
need
it lasted a minute.
do we need to fix that?
Um,
I'm
Nah.
sure me and Phil could rant about 10th edition for a solid hour. I mean,
Like,
Say the word, Captain.
I'm just saying.
is it a bad or good rant?
So far we've been liking what we've been seeing of 10th edition. Philip's definitely looked more into it than I have.
Okay, you
But-
say I've looked more into it. I watched like one video that was a breakdown on the Space Marine 10th edition.
Literally the
and,
only thing
like,
that I know is the shit that you've told me.
Yeah.
So like
But no.
technically I am correct.
So, honest to God, like I'm really looking forward to 10th edition. I'm going to be interested to see what my knights look like in 10th edition, and I'm going to be interested to see how the Space Marines turn out in 10th edition.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped to see what Tyranid shenanigans we get. I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty excited.
oh yeah, most definitely. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool beans.
All right. Well, remember everyone, game night next Saturday, and we'll see all you motherfuckers in 2 weeks.
See y'all
Hopefully.
later.
No, don't say that, Mitchell. Don't give us. Don't say hopefully, because then it's gonna get fucked up.
Hopefully.
We will see.